I'm going to be quick here. A projection from CBS Sports. There's one guy's mock draft. There's a billion of them this time of year. But this one stood out. CBS Sport had 2 Vols going in the first round this year. James Pierce, no surprise, they had him going number 11 to the 49ers. He's been rising, and Bob, we were talking before. You said you saw
number
him
8 going to the Panthers, the Athletic.
Is that Dane Brugler's big deal? Okay. And then the other guy to the Packers, Norman-Lott with the 23rd pick. That would be, if that happened, it would be the first time since 2010 that Tennessee had 2 players going in the first round. Wow. Can you name those 2 players?
2010.
It's been 14 years. We were here.
We were talking about them.
Of course, we were here 22 years ago.
They were linemen.
It was Eric Berry and Dan Williams were the 2 who went in 2010. You've not had 2 go. So my question, will 2 go this year? And I will ask that to Jimmy Himes.
No, I don't think so. Look, Norman-Lott is a valuable commodity in this. He was one of the best interior pass rushers in the SEC. Mm-hmm. And he had 6 sacks or whatever that number was. And he's a really good football player. But I don't think he's going to go quite that high. I don't think he's going to be as valued. Pass rushers are incredibly valued in the NFL, as they should be.
Especially
tackles
that can do it.
Yep. Yeah, and he is a tackle that can do it. You don't see that often, so that increases his value, but I don't see him going that high.
All it takes is one, so I wouldn't rule anything out.
Yes.
But I agree with you. If you told me to project who would go in the first round, it would be James Pierce, full stop. I wouldn't have Norman-Lott in the first round.
Yeah.
Bob?
No, when you go to the combine and you go through all the tests and measurements and all that stuff, it could change things. But I would think his production at Tennessee, if you look at it against the big teams, the big games, was it there? He was a good football player, solid football player.
Yeah.
But I don't see him making that jump, whereas James Pierce, I think he's already here, and when he does all the testing and everything, I think it pushes him up. So I would say no on Norman-Lott.
Gentlemen, Chuck, do you agree, disagree?
I just think it'll be 1, and I'll tell you why. I think it's from what I've read, a pretty good draft for linemen. And you got a lot of good defensive linemen, I think, too. Interior defensive linemen, whatever. I think that puts more competition. Plus, we were talking, didn't really do anything Senior Bowl, right? So
first day he was great,
yeah,
but after that.
James Pierce, I still think, I know the numbers are there, but wasn't he better when Tyler Barron was on the other side?
The sack numbers weren't there this year.
Yes, so
pressures were.
But all these teams want that rush in. Mel Kiper has James Pierce as an outside linebacker. That may be splitting hairs. It may not be. But I see James Pierce closer to top 15, top 20 than inside.
I see if James Pierce goes to a team like the Eagles and they've got just a ton of pass rushers and he's one that just rotates in and that's all he has to do, I think he could have a really good career. If he winds up going to a team like my Patriots where you got nothing and they're trusting in you to be the only pass rusher out there, I don't see that working out as well. Vince, your thoughts, do you get 2 Vols drafted in the first round?
I don't think so. Look, he was terrific the first day of the Senior Bowl, and so I'm sure he made it. That doesn't mean
nobody talked about it.
Yeah, no, they didn't even show him on the broadcast, so he may have either gotten hurt or opted out or just
either way, it didn't pop. They talked about him after day 1, not after.
But day 1, he was outstanding. So I can see how the quick twitch is there. One of the things that Charles Davis pointed out on the NFL Network broadcast is, look, you didn't have a ton of snaps that you would normally have for a guy that you have the skill set of. And that's because of the depth and the rotation that Tennessee had on their D-line. So I do think he's a day 2, but I would be surprised if he's day 1. And then Daniel Jeremiah, who's the best, he's got James Pierce, the number 32 pick to the Chiefs. So I don't
barely
think he's
getting one.
Yeah, so he's not a guarantee by any means either.
Okay. Vince, you're going to be out of here right now. This is your last segment. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate
it. But you host, you're all over you're going to be covering the draft prospects and everything else.
Yep.
But right now, Super Bowl week. What do you got coming up on Sports Source Next Level, which people can find coming up this week on the Sports Source Digital Network?
Yeah, Adam Sparks from the Knoxville News Sentinel and I are going to go through the top 5 VFL Super Bowl performances, and Alontae Taylor of the New Orleans Saints, his city is hosting the Super Bowl. We're going to visit with Alontae, get his thoughts on the matchup between the Chiefs and the Eagles, and a lot more.
Sounds good. We showed you the clip earlier where you had Jay Graham on there this past week. let's see, last Monday, who did you have on there with you doing the?
Matt Sims.
Matt
analyst
Sims, so
from- yeah.
you've always got those VFLs with you, so it's a good place to catch it. And you can find it at the Sports Source Digital Network. Go subscribe today. Just search at Sports Source Digital Network. Vince, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Sean.
When we come back, a couple of announcements. And what do you think about a pro team using the name Summit? Come on back.